Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ice Age. My name is Iceman, bringing you some more Halo 4 multiplayer gameplay. I'm got my third and final Majestic DLC map review here. I'm playing some Infinity Slayer on Monolith. My final score is 17-7, so pretty decent game for you guys to watch while I talk about the map. So for starters, Monolith is a mid-sized symmetrical map. You see it played a lot with Slayer, Regicide, King of the Hill, and Free-for-All right now in matchmaking. They might update those at some point, try to get some more team games in there. Personally, I don't think CTF would work too well on it just because the distance between the bases is not very long, but it's kind of up to 3-4-3, but we'll see where that goes in the future. So anyway, I just want to start off and say that I'm really not a big fan of this map. I think the other two maps in this pack, Skyline and Landfall, are much better designed and much more fun to play on. That being said, this isn't the worst map in the world. There are definitely some good points to it, but generally, in an average game, I'm just really not a huge fan of how the map flows and how the games usually turn out. So first things first, this area you see here, this kind of dome triangle looking area in the middle, is really kind of the giant people magnet on this map. Most people will spawn in the bases and make a beeline for this area like you see me doing here. I pretty much just go to the middle because I know the rest of the enemies are going to be there as well. And the two side bases, which you'll see to the left and right of where I'm standing, are generally also used for a lot of, a lot of people go there for the height advantage on this map, because the map is very open, as you can tell, other than these giant pillars here on the middle. So getting into one of the side bases with a sniper, like you see that guy up there, he just has a DMR, but getting up there or to the base to the right can be very advantageous because the map is so open. And the map also spawns two beam rifles on the map, which a lot of people, myself included, think is kind of an unnecessary feature of this map, because if one team gets both of them, it can be just way too overpowering for the other team, because they can sit either in the main bases or on the tall side base and really just kind of do whatever they feel like. I know some people think, some people say that's good strategy and the other team should be taking care of that, but I think having two of the beam rifles is really kind of overpowered, and one of them would be totally okay. If they had one of them spawning up in the tall middle base, that would be fine. But giving each team one can kind of cause a lot of sniping to go on, and it has some incentive for people to camp, and that's really not something that I like to do or like to play in Halo, and it just seems like a big theme on this map. So anyway, you see here I'm in red base. Not a whole lot of action takes place in the main bases, but the main bases themselves are actually decently designed. There's many ways to get into them. There's a couple side entrances, there's a couple front entrances. There's also a grav lift in the back that if you can get around behind it on the ground floor, it'll boost you right into the main area of the base. So I think the bases are really well designed, and it's kind of a shame that most people don't use them for much, since they spawn and just immediately run out to the middle of the map. But the bases are used in King of the Hill as some of the objectives, and I think those are really good objectives locations, because most people can use some of the cover that's available, but you can't really camp in there and hold it down for the whole time because there's so many opportunities for the other team to show up. So that being said, I wanted to kind of touch on the rest of the lifts on the map. This map uses a lot of lifts and cannons for movement around the map, and I think that's also kind of unusual just because of the way the map is designed for people to kind of run into the middle and kind of duke it out in the open areas. The man cannons are kind of hidden around the edges of the map and don't generally get used a whole lot. So there's one in the back of each base. There's one that will take you from the ground floor all the way up to the top of the tall side base, which I believe is to the right of where I'm looking right now. And then there's, I think, one in the back of the small base. I might be wrong. I haven't been back there too much, honestly, because not a lot of people go back there. And lastly, there are two man cannons, one at the top of the tall side base and one at the small side base, and they shoot you directly across the map into the the other corresponding side base. So that's a really cool feature. It really helps with the map flow there for games like King of the Hill, where you're trying to get around to a different part of the map really quickly, unlike games like Slayer. So that's actually really nice, being able to fly right across the map real quick and get to the next hill or something like that. But other than that, people use them to kind of fly over the middle of the map very quickly so that they can't be shot, and if they have the rockets, they can easily see anybody in the middle where most people usually go and kind of take them out. Which kind of brings me to my other point, that the rockets in this map, which spawn right here in this triangle thing you see in the bottom middle, they spawn very, very, very quickly, and probably too quickly, because I've had games where somebody will pick up the rockets, and before they're even done shooting all of the rockets in that they have, it will have already respawned, and they can just go back and pick them up, and it's kind of like having infinite rocket ammo. Now, some people might like that. It can get very, very annoying, and kind of prevent some people from playing like a more strategic game, I guess you could say. So this map is definitely set up for teams to be able to use kind of strategy and like tactics and teamwork and stuff. It's very open. You can pincer very easily on certain sections of this map, but having the rockets really kind of defeats some of that, and having somebody with so many rockets can really be kind of an annoyance. And that being said, a lot of the ordnances on this map are power weapons as well, and I mean, I know you guys know that from the rest of the games, the rest of the maps, but certain games on this map can really kind of turn into giant power weapon fests, it feels like, where everybody's kind of running around with a saw or a shotgun or rockets or sniper or whatever, and it can kind of be crazy, and sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it's just annoying when the entire other team has all the power weapons or something along these lines. So just something to keep in mind, that if you want to do on this map, definitely make sure that you have a good DMR or VR, or make sure that you have a power weapon. And being able to stay out of the middle, which is kind of not at all what I did with this round, is also helpful if you don't want to use close range power weapons, because being up in this tall top base or side base to the left, kind of behind of where I'm standing right now, is really nice for DMR fights, because you can see pretty much the entire map. It's open enough for you to be able to take people out pretty quickly. They don't have a ton of cover, and generally that's a good way to go as well. I chose to spend this round kind of in the middle with the close range power weapons. That was just kind of what I was going for. But anyway, I think this is pretty much the end of the video. I'm getting a nice double kill to finish off the game here. So, not my favorite map on the world, but still a good one anyway. And so until next time, peace, love, and ice.